So, how do we make Icarus? It's a little bit more complicated, but still not too hard. And the first thing I'm going to do is to draw his wings. I have folded my paper so that I only need to cut it once. Okay, so yeah, a shape a little bit like this, off the edge there, and round at the bottom, and then some feathers coming out the side like so. I have left a little tab here so that I can fold the wings and stick them more easily. You then need to do some fairly careful measuring, and you need to turn your little wheel so that this tab here, this part here, is at its highest point. So if that doesn't make a lot of sense, here it is at its bottom point, and here it is at the highest it will go. Yeah, and then you need to cut another strip of cardboard that is about, I would say, 2 centimeters higher than the top of the tab. The next step is to stick the wings to this side and this side of the top of the card. So one wing on this side and the other wing on the other. This is why it is a good idea to have the little tabs so that you can stick them more easily. Wait for the wings to dry and then bend them so that, yeah, they can flap on the stick. And then you will need to glue the cardboard with the wings just behind the tab here, and you will need some hot glue to do this probably, or some normal glue, but you will need to leave it to dry. When the cardboard with the wings has dried, we now need to cut an extra piece to make the wings move up and down. And that will look very much like a Y shape or a V with a little line at the base. And this we will add to the moving part here so that it pushes the wings up and pulls them down again. To make this shape, you again need to make sure that this part of your machine is at the top, yeah, because that will help us make the measurement correctly. And the size of it kind of depends on how big your wings are, how tall your tab is. This is something where you might need to try it several times. Okay, so if that seems confusing, I will try to explain in an easier way. These are the wings, of course, and here is the piece of cardboard that moves up and down. And this is the kind of shape you would need to create to pull the wings up and down. The arm should be towards the middle of the wings at least. You should make it out of thin cardboard, not thick cardboard, and the shape should be equal on both sides. This Y shape is slightly wider. This would make the wings move differently because it would pull them from here and here. When you have cut out and created your shape, stick it to the top of the moving part here. But to start with, I would use some masking tape so that you can adjust it if you need to later. Here's a quick tip for you. If you don't have masking tape and just have sellotape, you can stick it to a jumper or shirt or pair of trousers and then peel it off, and it will be much less sticky. Turn over the end of the arm slightly so that you can attach some tape to that and then stick it to the wing. And then you need to test it, and mine seems to be working okay. You can make little adjustments if you need to, maybe change the position of the arms on the wings or the position here on the tab. It is something that you will need to work with to get the best effect. And when you are sure that everything is exactly where you want it to be, you could use a little bit of glue just to fix the parts in place. So I then added a little bit of sea, I drew Icarus and cut him out. Okay, so I have cut out Icarus. Poor Icarus, he looks very happy here, but his good mood won't last for very long. And now I'm going to turn him over, and I have just cut the end off a cocktail stick. I'm going to glue a little roll of cardboard onto Icarus, and then I'm just going to push the cocktail stick through that. Okay, and then when that is dry, I'm just going to push the figure through the corrugated cardboard here, like so. As you can see, I made a couple of little adjustments. I added some foam to the sea. I drew some feathers and cut them out to add to his wings. And of course, he needed a sun in the background. Of course, one problem with Icarus is that his arms don't move and he didn't have motorized wings. But again, if you are really clever, if you really start to understand how these mechanisms work, you could also make his arms move up and down. But that's a much bigger project.